Hi there guys, my name is Trevor ILESLEY, teaching that there is another way through the dark night of the soul, and it's called the Be Me Being. Today, I want to be talking about awakening. Awakening can be, and is, very frightening. It's very scary, and it's also very lonely. So we're going to touch on a few things, understanding what it feels like to be scared. Scared of your thoughts, scared of your feelings, scared of your future. You fear what you think, you are fearing what you feel, and you fear that you'll never get out of it. I felt exactly the same. I thought, my God, this is going to be forever, and I've fallen into this darkness with no form of escape. That to me was very scary. At that particular time, I didn't realize I was awakening. But today, I'm going to teach you about the awakening. And once you know that it is scary, that it is painful and scary, I never realized how much pain the body can take you through. I didn't realize how much the mind can make you feel like you're in pain. It's incredible. But I must admit, I did get to the point when I tried to understand the body, and I had a wow moment that went, wow, I just can't believe how this body is making me feel over something that I don't understand. Through my teachings and through my work, I tried to simplify everything in a way where you can understand. I didn't get that teaching. I didn't get that understanding. But the more I grew with understanding what did awakening actually mean. Awakening is a part of you that awakens and realizes, what are you doing? What do you think life is? Are you wasting your time? Why are you in that relationship? Why do you treat yourself so bad? Why have you got anger and jealousy and frustration? What are you doing? And so therefore, it becomes very difficult. The language within your mind is very difficult. So when you hear me say, become mindfully empty, become mindfully empty, it is a command, and it's the only words that you need to understand within your mind, because your mind is going over and over and over. It's tormenting, it's dreadful, and it's painful, and it's scary. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust anybody. And you definitely don't want to go out anymore. Everything will disappear. So when we hear people talking about awakening as this wonderful thing, maybe for them it was. Maybe something there was really beautiful. But for me, the awakening wasn't like that. But then I came with a message. I think that is a little bit different. I could have just awakened and not bothered talking to anyone, not bothered telling anyone about my teachings, about my findings, about my working out of how to go from being a human being, falling into that darkness, and then waking up into a completely different being. Waking up to a different being, you see a different world. And at first, it looks like hell. When I first woke up, I saw everything. It was as if during the night, the devil himself had come and destroyed Earth. I saw everything. I saw the bullshit and the lies, the way people were talking, the way the system was working, the bullshit from the politicians, the economy of this planet. I just looked at it and I thought, this is utter rubbish. And I had been living that life. I had been living a lie. When the dark night of the soul comes, it's about telling you you're living a lie. And you know, it's that feeling that's within you. There is a feeling within inside of you. You know when somebody lies to you. You know they're lying, but you just can't prove it. So you can spend quite some time being in that relationship until you discover the truth of the lie. And I love that, discovering the truth behind the lie. I had been living a lie. I think the word human being is a lie. It doesn't work for me, and I'm sure if you're listening to this audio, it doesn't actually work for you neither. So, don't kid yourself that this is okay. Don't kid yourself that tomorrow it's going to be okay. Run with this. Walk with this. Understand it and know that there is a gentle process of being able to climb out of that darkness. Because the darkness only wants your attention, and it's got it. So once you start communicating within your own darkness, and you analyze that darkness within you, you will find that it is accumulation of your experience that has filled your body with pain. It has filled yourself with a story that you just don't understand. And this is where it all gets confusing. It's all jumbled up. The energy that runs through your body, you're trying to understand. You think you're ill. You may even think you're dying. I did. I used to think, my God, I'm dying. I must be. My body is in so much pain. Going to the doctors didn't help. Nothing wrong with you, they said. Perfect health, they said. Can't be, I said. I was quite disappointed with that. In some sense, I was hoping that they would discover something wrong, but they didn't. But trust me, they asked me if I did want some depression tablets, which of course I didn't want. Why give me tablets for something that I don't have? But of course, it did feel like depression. So in the awakening, it does feel like you've lost everything. You've lost everything about yourself. Everything that you may have known about yourself. It's weird and it's strange. And you may look at yourself in the mirror and say, who are you? I don't know who you are anymore. But stop and think about it for a moment. You didn't really know who you was anyway. You was caught in a program that you thought that's who you are. This is me, you say. But it's not really you. In the dark night of the soul, it is a journey that one needs to go through. And that's why I teach people to go through. Not backwards, but to go through. And this is the time when you can really start to understand yourself. I call it the second chance. At the time I didn't know, but now I can say to you, it is the second chance. You are being given this chance to be able to make amends now, before it's too late. So everything becomes heightened. You may be trying to sleep, but your hearing is heightened. Sometimes I used to think there was a mosquito in the room. Nothing more annoying, is there, as a mosquito flying around when you're trying to sleep? But then after a while, I used to think, oh, maybe that's a motorbike. Then the noise got a little bit louder, or maybe it's a car. And then it became a juggernaut that was passing by the window. And I thought, my God, that juggernaut sounded like a mosquito. So your hearing becomes amplified. You may go to the shops and you may hear everybody speaking. The conversations have become amplified. Your feelings will also become amplified. This is the awareness. This is a good ability. It's incredible because your body has now become almost like a microphone, and it's picking up all of these different frequencies. It's picking up all these different energies. You may be connecting with spirit. You may be hearing voices. Your body is opening you up to a different realm of possibilities. Call it levels of consciousness. I like my version. It's levels of beamy awareness, beamy understanding, be me enlightenment. Because enlightenment is when you discover something that you never knew before. There are some of you in your awakening, you may see visions of Christ. Some of you may even believe you are Jesus himself. This is good, but you're not Jesus. There is an aspect of Jesus there because the energy within you is awakened into a different awareness. And so therefore, it becomes more godly. It becomes more loving. It becomes this healer. And so therefore, the information that you get to hear or feel, or something that is being downloaded into your body, is showing you all the signs. This comes from spirit, and it can play that part with you because, as we know, Jesus has been the main guy on this planet that spoke of a new way, a different way, and it was all about healing. The dark night of the soul is all about healing. Healing the mind, healing the body, healing your energy, healing your journey. Your experience becomes something completely different. As I said, it's very scary. It almost reminds you of being a child again. When your parents turned off the bedroom light, there was a lot of fear. Take it into your adult life, somebody or something has turned off the light. So it leaves you in darkness. It leaves you in that fear. And in that fear, we think bad things. We think there's something under the bed. We think there's a monster. And our mind starts to race within ourselves. And it creates this visions and stories that you feel unsafe. Once you get through this fear, I used to say to myself, my soul, the spirit, God himself, why did you put me through so much fear? Why do I feel so much fear? And the reason being is because once you can understand fear is within you, fear becomes your teacher. It is your last fig leaf to go. Once you've released that fear, you are free because there is nothing else left to fear. You've been fearing yourself all along. You can fear your gift. You can fear what others think of you. You can fear confrontation. You can fear not fitting into society. You can fear not conforming. You can fear trying to survive. There are many fears, but once you've understood it, once you've learned from it, and you get that awakening that says, wow, it's me that's fearing me. I fear myself, and I fear being alone. They are the biggest fears on the planet. Everybody fears being alone. In the dark night of the soul, you are alone. In your depression, you are alone. And even though you could be surrounded by people, you will still feel alone. I'd like to think, by the way that I'm telling you this, that it can be quite comforting. When I was seeking to find somebody that had my answer, I wanted somebody to say to me, I know exactly what you're going through. And in that moment I could say, thank God somebody knows. Somebody has answers for me. But I never found that. And I went to some good places. I met some good people. But I was waiting for that being that would just tell me exactly what I was going through and why was I going through and how was it making me feel. I so wanted that. Little did I know, as the years rolled on by and I was still questioning and answering, seeking truth, trying to understand spirit, I did not know that I would become the man with the answers. You hear me teach beamism. It's a word that never existed before. It has been created not just because it sounds good. It is a word that speaks truth, because the meaning of life is, be me is, The interpretation is up to you. Now, it doesn't stop your growth. There's nothing there to teach. But what it gets you to understand is that you are alone, and you have always been alone. So be me is when you realize this is for you to understand. Beamism isn't a cult. Beamism isn't something that everyone will join. But what beamism is everyone's religion. It's every soul's religion. And to me, because it all came from spirit, everyone will tell you that the gift of life is for you to be you. But the question remains, what is the real you? What is the true you? And that can only come from a feeling when something feels right. You know, people say to me, Trev, do you script your speeches? Do you script your seminars? I say no. Over the years, I've written down my complaints of how I felt. And then I got to a point when I'd collected so much of my writings, I needed to burn them. I needed to get rid of them. Because if I couldn't speak this story, then I hadn't found truth. So when we look at beamism and the beamy being, no one has ever really looked at we are beamy beings. We all have a body, we all have a mind, and we all have experience. That's the life of the beamy. When we look at the word human, it seems to be a bit scattered. A human can be a female, it can be a male, it can be religious, it can be creative. It's got so many titles behind it. But when you start to truly understand the beamy and the power and the gift of being you, that's the gift that is awaiting you once fear has been understood, once loneliness has been understood. And once you understand just them two words, which produced a frequency and a feeling and a mind that was running away with itself, when you learn to control the body, the mind, and your emotions, you will start to understand that it is you that is going through this, and it is only you that needs to understand it. And through my understanding, the human part of me, the fearful part of me, dropped away, leaving me with the essence to begin again. To me, that was the second coming. Trust the journey, work with yourself, believe in yourself, believe that you will get through this. And the way to do this is to talk to yourself with respect. I don't see much of that on planet Earth. I don't see much of that with human beings. Respect seems to have gone right out of the window. Respect is one of your greatest assets. Respect your pain. Respect your body. Respect your mind. Respect your experience. Because if you can find that respect, appreciation comes. You teach yourself. Beamism teaches you to be you. When I awakened, yes, it was painful. Yes, I was angry. Yes, I was lost and confused. But I worked with it, and I wasn't going to give up. So, beamism was born. It was in there. You take beamism, you take the beamy essence of who you are, and it will be interesting to see who you awaken to, what you will become, how you will think, and how you will feel. How cool would that be? That you're not following anything or anyone other than your journey. You can read books. How Eckhart Tolle did it. Neil Donald Walsh done it. What gift do you have? You came here with all the intelligence, just the same as everyone else. The only thing that is different is maybe education levels. But education is only a human form. 2 and 2 equals 4. Everyone knows that. To educate yourself through this journey is going to be the best education you will ever discover in your life. Beamism gives you the tools, it gives you the direction, it gives you something else to step into. It gives you a new identity. To be the beamy being is when you can step into that beamy self, understand when you are truly in your beamy self, because that will feel correct. Then look at yourself in your human life and see how that feels. And when you know you're actually awakening, one day you'll be in your human self. That will feel quite disappointing or devastating or painful or fearful. One day you may wake up and you will be in your beamy self, as if there is no fear. There is no worry. You can almost call it bipolar. Bipolar means going from one extreme to the other. It means going up and going down. That is what happens when you awaken. One minute you get it, next minute you don't understand it. Next minute you're awake, next minute you're in pain. And then what happens is you start to know there is these two stories. There is these two sides of something that is happening, that is bouncing from one side to the other. Then will come the day when you have to ask yourself this, and this will be the most important choice you will ever make. Does it feel right to be in the beamy way? Or does it feel right to be in your human ways? Now, I know you will want to try and keep staying with the idea behind being human. That's a relationship that you've had for a long time. The beamy being is going to be new, going to be different. And it's a choice you have to make. The beamy being or the spirit being, the higher level of conscious being, the awakened being. Be me for me just made it simple. It encompassed all of these great assets. So when you go from the darkness of the human, you follow the teachings of Be Me, which means to follow the teachings of self. I'm teaching you, which is the teacher within you, to teach you to wake up, take the journey, and discover who you really are, the being that you should have been, that you've been hiding from. My name is Trevor ILESLEY. I'll see you on the other side.